so I can understand it properly.
Okay.
Let's say I have a customer in Canada. The customers, it is a holding company. Okay.
Okay.
Under this holding, there is 2 or 3 other company. One, let's say, IT company. Another, it is a retail company. Another, it is a hospitality.
Okay.
Okay. 3
Okay.
different company.
Okay, let's take the example. Okay, what you're saying. So we
Yeah.
have a company, right? We have client. I can say as a client, right? The customer.
Client
So
holding, yeah.
yeah, whatever name we can take the same only. Let's
Okay.
take client. There is one client, okay? So this client, he is doing different businesses. Okay, different businesses he is doing. Okay, different line of businesses he is having. Okay, so one is IT division. Okay, one may be construction.
Yes.
Okay, maybe another, whatever, pharma, right?
Yeah.
So different. So these are different. Okay, different divisions. So
Yeah.
he is doing business in different divisions. Here, this client, okay, for this client, for example, ABC client. So what we need to do, we need to define ABC enterprise structure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
for instance, we are managing only one enterprise structure. Enterprise structure. Okay. So these are the divisions. These are the divisions. Maybe these divisions, okay, they want to maintain as LOB, line of businesses. Okay. And after that, so this layer, right? This layer, what we are calling it as, this is a division layer. Right? So this is a division layer. So how many companies here we have? Here we have company segment. For example, we have division segment, right? We have account segment. At least these 3 are required. Company, division, account. Maybe 1 or more companies here we have. Okay, just assume we have only one company. Okay. So or else they are located in different countries, for example. So what we are calling it as, we are calling as an entity. We are calling as an entity. So
Legal
how many,
entity, you mean, right?
yeah, how many entities are there? In this example, you are saying, for example, ABC India, okay, ABC Canada, right? ABC Canada and ABC UK. So these are 3 different entities. These are 3 different entities. And if you look into division, right? If you look into division, so we have 3 different divisions. One is IT division, one is IT, one is construction, right? And another one is pharma. And let's take accounts. There are so many accounts are there. Let's take, for example, cash account. Okay, cash account. Are different accounts here we can see, right? So in this example, all these 3 we are calling it as segments, right? This we are calling as segments. Segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, like this. So these segments, group of segment, what we are calling as a chart of account. ABC COA. So for ABC COA is a chart of account. For ABC COA, okay. So here we are defining ABC COA chart of accounts, and based on the country requirement, how many ledgers we need to define here? How many ledgers we need to define? Here we need to define, okay, 3 different ledgers. Why we need to define 3 different ledgers? Okay, if you want to pass any transaction, okay, if you want to pass any transaction, we required currency, we required calendar, and we required chart of account. You aware, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so we have India primary ledger. We have India because here currency is INR, and we have, so in this example, we have Canada primary ledger. 3 primary ledgers we are managing. Canada primary ledger. In the same way, UK primary ledger. For each primary ledger, what we need to do? We need to assign. These are the ledgers. These are the ledgers. These ledgers are associated to legal entity. How many legal entities are there? We have 3 legal entity: ABC legal entity, Canada legal entity, UK legal entity. We need to associate 3 different legal entities, 3 different ledgers, 3 different legal entities, right? So all these things, right? So it will come under enterprise structure. So here, for example, here we need to maintain primary ledger. We need to primary India primary ledger. Okay, India primary ledger. India primary ledger. In the same way, Canada primary ledger. Okay, here UK primary ledger. So these are 3 different ledgers. This ledger will come under ledger layer. This is nothing but LOB, line of business. Okay, and this is okay. This will come. Okay, this will come as an enterprise. Under each legal entity, each primary ledger, what we are associated? We are associated legal entities. We are associated legal entity. Okay, so just what we can do, just insert. Insert. Okay, so here India primary ledger, Canada primary ledger, UK primary ledger. Each ledger is associated legal entity. Here what we need to do, we need to associate an ABC legal entity. Okay, and here we need to be associated, okay, Canada legal entity, and here we need to be associated UK legal entity. So one or more legal entities here we may have. For each legal entity, we need to associate balance segment value. That point we'll discuss a little later. At this moment, you might not understand. Okay, so each legal ABC legal entity, it is in India. For example, they are doing business in 2 different places. Try to understand. They are doing in India 2 different places. Maybe, okay, one is in Bombay and one is in Hyderabad. In India, in ABC legal entity, this is India legal entity, right? ABC India legal entity. So they're doing in 2 different places. Wherever they're doing business, we are calling it as ABC Hyderabad BU. Okay, in the same way ABC, okay, Bombay BU. Why we are calling it 2 different BUs? They have 2 different locations. Accordingly, okay, they want to maintain the business. They want to partition the data. Only Hyderabad users will log in this BU and they will enter the transaction. Bombay people will log in this particular transaction. So this layer is a BU layer. Okay, in the Canada also, I don't know the locations. Based on the location, they might have different business unit. In the UK also, they have business units. So this is called business unit. So this is called business unit. Okay. So because here we are maintaining some security between the business between the organizations. So that's the reason. So we need to maintain multiple business units based on the requirement. So for each Hyderabad, okay, all the stock we cannot keep in the business place, right? We need to maintain separate inventory arcs. We need to maintain separate inventory arc for Hyderabad. For example, there are 2 different locations available. One is, for example, Amirpet inventory, and one more is, for example, KBHP inventory. So these are the 2 inventory organizations which are come under Hyderabad BU. Right? So this is a simple hierarchy. This is an inventory organization. Inventory organization. So this layer is not much useful actually. If you look into this under ABC, because construction, pharma, everything already come under which ledger? These are already part of the chart of accounts. IT, construction, pharma is already part of chart of account, but still why we are maintaining in this particular hierarchies, it is more significant. If you keep this, it is more significant, okay, with respect to HRMS and projects module, not with respect to financials. So financial, how we will get the benefit based on the division is, if you maintain a division, if you maintain a division in the chart of account, you will get a lot of advantage from the financial standpoint. But if you maintain division in the hierarchy, that is more useful for the HRMS side and the project side, not for the financial accounting side. Okay, sometimes instead of maintaining division, what we can do is, for example, construction, pharma, something if you maintain, you can maintain different ways. For example, you are doing business, okay, instead of like this, you can maintain APAC is one division, APAC is one division, EMEA is one division. Okay, you can maintain like this also. Okay, not only maybe line of businesses we can do. So the division here concept is, here the division may be, it might be a line of business, or it might be a geographical location also. Geographical location means, I will take APAC is one location, EMEA is one location like this. So geographical location. So the what point we need to understand here is, when we are managing divisions in the hierarchy, when we are managing divisions in the chart of accounts. So if you maintain division in the chart of account, okay, the advantage is more significant in the financials. But if you're using divisions in the hierarchy, that is more useful for the HRMS to maintain the hierarchies, to maintain the positions, to maintain the jobs. Okay, and if you talk about project accounting side, okay, if there is a project organization hierarchy is there, so there and all this particular division concept will useful. And if you're not implementing project accounting, there is no such great advantage if you're managing division in the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any questions?
So what I understood is division mainly or mostly, it's used for geographical location. But if I have, for example, two companies in the same, let's say, same line of business, same geography, okay?
Okay.
So in this case, this will be useful, means that I need to make two different legal entities.
Now, why do you need to maintain two different legal entities?
Because it is two different companies.
No. You are treating the division itself as a company, right? You want to treat division itself as a company.
I used to treat the company as a legal entity.
Okay, so you want to maintain the company. The company itself is a legal entity.
Yes.
Okay, here two things we need to understand. What is the meaning of legal entity definition? That is, we need to identify. Okay, if we have separate shareholders,
yes,
each division, if we have separate shareholders, yes, you are saying correct. We can maintain the division. Okay, the division. What we need to do? Each division we can be treated here as a company. Okay, each one is treated as a company here. Okay, if all these three divisions are come under one company and one shareholders, then in such case, what we need to do? We need to maintain. Okay, we need to maintain one company, and all these three we treated as divisions. So in such case, okay, we cannot maintain three different legal entities. We can maintain only one legal entity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's all about how you are managing your legal entities. Your legal entities are managing separately. Yes, each division can be treated as a separate legal entity. Okay, if all these three divisions are come under one legal entity, then then the design will be a little bit different. Okay.
Okay, so, I understood. So of course, it will be different shareholders and different CR, commercial registration.
Okay.
with the government, so we used to treat it as different legal entity. But if I have, let's say, too many line of business,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
and one legal entity, one company means one CR, one shareholders. So how I'll treat it? I'll treat through division or through business unit?
See, we have three different, see, you are saying that all these three line of businesses are registered separately. Yes or no?
No, I said if we have now different example that I have one company with
Okay.
one legal entity means one CR, but they have different line of business, means they have construction, they
Okay,
have
let's take
production.
this example. Okay, we have one company, only one company, right?
Yeah, it's named ABC.
Okay,
ABC,
in this example, we have ABC. Okay, done.
yeah, ABC, it's located in, let's say, UAE.
UAE, okay.
Yes, they
Okay.
have one CR, it is the same CR which is under government, it's named ABC, and
Okay.
they have
Okay.
three different line of business. One construction, one, for example, street marking.
So construction is there. Okay.
Yeah, construction.
Hmm.
Carpentry, for example, is there.
Okay, construction, and you are saying one more. What is I am unable to hear what.
Carpentry and road marking, for example.
Okay, so for example, retail marketing. Okay, whatever.
Let's say retail.
Okay, retail marketing. Okay. Now, in this example, okay, this company is located located in three different places. So here, what is the company name? ABC company. Here,
Yes.
how many companies are there in this example? How many companies? The shareholders are only one. Here,
Same.
under UAE, these are the different line of businesses, but shareholders are not different for three different businesses, right? All
Yeah.
these three different line of businesses. In this case, what we need to do, we have only one company. Okay, I can keep company like this. So, for example, UAE entity or UAE company, UAE company. So UAE company is one. Under that, this is a company. Under that, we need to maintain divisions. These are divisions. How many divisions? For example, construction and retail divisions. So here, there is no need to maintain divisions of the companies. Divisions are different, company is different here. Why? Because we are assigning balancing segment label. Okay, entity label at what level? Company level. Since we have only one company, we can assign only one legal entity. Understand this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take one more example. One more example. Our business is located in UAE. Our business is located in UAE, and I am doing three different businesses. Okay, construction, retail. But these two are registered, these two are two different entities. Then what I need to do? These two are two different,
Legal
these two
entity.
are separate. Then I need to be, instead of taking divisions at this level, so UAE construction is UAE construction, UAE retail, we need to assign to the company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so usually what will happen is, based on the legal entities, how we are managing your legal entities, accordingly we need to define our chart of accounts. Yeah. So any question, ask me please.
It's okay, but I thought that we can ignore this division as a construction and retail, and we can use it as a business unit. Means I will have let's say company ABC as a legal entity, and under it I can have two business units, one
Okay.
construction and one retail.
See, whatever name we are keeping, no one will ask, right? And again, see, one more point. For example, this division, for example, you are asking that, okay, this division I want to replace, this division I want to replace as a business unit, right? So when we can replace as a business unit, that's a question. So let me tell you, for example, there is one construction, okay, there is one retail. So these two are two different divisions, okay. See, construction transactions, retail transaction, you want to maintain separately, you want to treat it separately, you want to, okay, you want to make any security between these two. That means, okay, for example, construction users are different, retail users are different. Okay, so yes, what we need to do, instead of taking division, what we can substitute business unit, and we can track construction, and we can track retail. So only the naming convention, not only naming convention. For example, this construction is located in two different places. Let's say, for example, construction in UAE, for example, it's available in Riyadh. Okay, it is available maybe in some name, whatever, for ABC location. Then how do you want to maintain, capture your transactions? Tell me. Riyadh and ABC, between these two locations, do you want security?
It should be somehow.
So if you want to maintain security, then how we need to do that? So business unit, here what we need to define like this: construction Riyadh, construction ABC. So like that values we need to define under business unit. If you don't want to maintain security based on the locations, what we need to do? Construction you can define the business unit, retail itself is a business unit. So the business unit concept, generally, at what level we are managing security, that level business unit will come. If you want to maintain the security between construction and retail, then usually you can go with business unit. Okay, and if you don't want to maintain the, any security between these two, okay, anyone will enter any transaction, then we'll go with the division concept. Okay, so yes, the business unit also can be replaced in the place of division. See, it's just a name change, right? What is the, you can keep division or you can keep business unit, but generally, what is the business demand? Why we need to go with the business unit? Why can't we go with the division? Any business requirement will come, so then we need to understand that point. For example, if we maintain the business unit, so business unit, even if you keep also for subledgers, I'm talking about payables, receivables, these modules will strongly support business unit, right? So when we enter any transaction, there, whatever transaction we are entering, we should select only that business unit transaction only. You shouldn't select other business unit transactions. Yes, you can manage business unit also in divisions.
Okay. But mainly if it is two different line of business, but they are same company, same stuff. Let's say almost no security. I'm flexible to use it as a business unit.
Yeah, correct.
In the GL financial statement, to which structure level I can get a financial statement?
So financial statement, there is a segment label is available, right? So segment label, for example, if you maintain division, right? Division, for example, there is only one company. You're saying only one company, right? So one company, what we can do in division level, what you require? Do you want to track P&L account or do you want to track balance sheet?
Balance sheet.
So if you want to prepare a balance sheet, this particular division can be assigned to the primary balancing segment label. Okay, so if you want to assign primary balance segment label, so that level we can able to prepare the balance sheet. Okay, if at all, if you want to prepare, if you want to get only P&L account, what we can do, this particular segment we can assign to the cost center. Okay. That is about the business requirement at what level they want to track.
I
Okay,
think we will have the real scenario on the demo, right? In the system.
system.
I mean that in the Fusion Oracle Cloud, we'll go through it on the interface.
Yeah, it is available, right? We once, no, I mean, once we are driving the sessions, we need to discuss those points also.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, this is about organization structure. So yesterday we are discussing something about, you know, some middleware tools. Okay, so I think you already aware the process, right? So how we need to take the subscription? For example, so my company want to implement Oracle applications.
Mhm.
So when we implement Oracle application, what steps we need to follow? For example, okay, my company, they want to implement Oracle applications, and they just contacted with one of the IT consulting company. So IT consulting company, okay, they provided one project manager and couple of consultants, and how we can start doing implementation. So what are the first step? So once we understand about Oracle and the customer client is also okay, we can go with Oracle applications. We need to apply for subscription. Apply for cloud subscription, for example, right? So when we apply for some cloud subscription, and once we pay the amount to Oracle, what they will do is they will give us they will give us one implementation user login. They will give one link. What is that link? That URL.
Mhm.
They'll provide one cloud URL. Okay, and along with that, they will provide user ID and password also. User ID and password. So usually, who requested? Okay, so Oracle will give instance URL as well as user ID and password also Oracle give us. And once you receive this URL and password, what steps we need to do? This is the URL given for implementation users. That means for consultants. Okay, for example, project manager. So this login is given to the project manager. The project manager, what he will do is he will start doing configurations in the application. So when Oracle is creating user for this particular project manager, okay, Oracle itself is assigned to some of the roles. Okay, we'll go and see what roles Oracle is provided for this user. So do you have any idea what roles are required in order to implement any project?
What role to implement the project? I think the role it is implementation user, something like that.
Okay. So when Oracle is giving the
Or
license,
manager.
yeah,
Sorry?
when Oracle is giving, okay, when Oracle is providing this instance login access and user and password, okay, Oracle assigns some of the roles to that user. So what roles Oracle has given is application implementation consultant.
Mhm.
Application implementation consultant role.
Mhm.
So this role they assign, this role, because if you have this role, then Oracle is giving the access to the user to perform the implementation. And addition to this roles, Oracle is also giving, okay, IT security manager.
Mhm.
So this is a role is also required. And the third role is employee role. Actually, he is not an employee. This is a generic role, even though it is assigned to this particular user. So these three roles are very significant. Okay, these three roles are very significant. So if we have application implementation consultant, what is the advantage? What is the advantage? So if we have application implementation consultant role, If you have application implementation consultant role,
Mhm.
you will get a access. You will get a access to perform the setups. That means you will get a access for functional setup manager. Functional setup manager. If you have functional setup manager, okay. See, in case of EBS, right? If you want to perform the setups in GL, we need to log into the GL and do that. And in case of purchasing, we need to log into the purchasing and do that. So if you want to do any setups, we need to log into the respective application, and accordingly, we need to perform the setups in case of EBS. But if you talk about FSM, all configurations, okay, we are managing in one place. There is a centralized place available for all modules, okay, configurations. We are taking care in the centralized place. That place we are calling it as functional setup manager. So with the help of functional setup manager, what we can do, we can perform configurations. We can perform configurations, or also we can call it as setups. We can also call it as setups. So application implementation consultant role is very important. With the help of this role, we can do all application setups. What is the advantage of IT security manager? So if we have IT security manager, what we can do, we will get the access for security console. So if we have security console, nothing but system administrator access. So if we have system administrator access, okay, so the user who is having this access, they can create the users for others.
Mhm.
I understand. The person who is having security manager access, he is having system administrator access, nothing but security console access. So he can able to create the users for others. So create users, okay. And once we create the users, we can assign the role also. So we can assign respective roles. We can assign roles also, right? So that is the advantage of IT security manager. What is the advantage of employee? So this is basically, this is very generic. Okay, employee, why we need to assign is from application perspective. If you want to run any program, or if you want to run any job, okay, if you want to run any extract, okay. So if you want to access that particular form, okay, he should be an employee. So if you have employee role, we have ESS job page. What is the meaning of ESS job page is? So these jobs, right, ESS jobs page, so we are running some reports. We can run some reports, we can run programs. Okay. So we can run some reports and we can run some programs on the ESS job page. So when we will get the access for this page is, if you are an employee, then only will get the access. So if you're not an employee, employee role is not assigned, you cannot run this ESS job, okay? And you cannot run any reports and programs. And not only that, okay, for example, if you want to book any expenses, okay, so if you are not an employee, you cannot book the expenses. So if you're an employee, then only system will allow to perform, okay, perform to create the expense report. That means employee specific functions access also, we will get employee related functions access, we will get when we have a employee role to user. So these three roles are very, very important. So for example, Oracle has assigned all these roles and given to the project manager. Just assume that project manager. So, and after that, the project manager, these three roles are already assigned by the user. What he will do is, whatever user ID and password is given, he needs to log into the application. Log into application. So he is already having application implementation consultant role, right? He is eligible to perform setups also. So the project manager who is handling this project, right? So he want to manage this project. So if you want to manage this project, okay, so how many tasks we needs to be done and which task needs to be assigned to whom, okay, how much percentage is completed, how much percentage is pending. Okay, so usually in case of EBS, these all project management activities, he is taking care in outside of application. That means he needs to maintain maybe one project plan. The project manager needs to maintain the project plan in outside. Or else might be they're using some any other legacy softwares which are related to project plan. Okay, maybe Microsoft projects or any other tools we can use to track the project. So what is a project, under the project, how many tasks are there, which task is assigned to whom, which task is completed, how much is the progress is, all these things he can track in the tool. Okay, but whereas in case of Fusion, Oracle itself is given project management tool. Oracle itself is given project management tool as part of implementation, but it is not the project management tool how we are managing, okay, for other activities. Okay, but it is a very lightweight project management tool. Okay, that's the reason once we log into the application, what he will do is he will create a project. For example, I want to implement for ABC. I will create ABC implementation project. Okay, and once I'll create implementation project, okay, under this project, what activities we need to take care? What activities we need to take care? We need to create all these activities, okay, as what are the modules are required. What we need to do? We need to take offerings. For example, my customer is manufacturing company. So manufacturing company means basically what they require. They require manufacturing module. They require supply chain management module. They require financial module. They require HRMS module. Based on the business requirement, what we can do is we will take the offerings. So here offerings means what exactly? So offerings means, so you can take financial offering. Okay, and you can take SCM offering, and you can take, manufacturing offering or PPM offering, whatever. So these all we are calling the offerings. So under these offerings, okay, what all are the sub business functions we are using? What are the modules we are using? For example, I want to use GL, I want to go AP, I want to go AR. Maybe I want to require only fixed asset. I don't require cash management. This we are calling it as offerings. This what we are calling it as options. So what options are required? So here we require, these are the options. Try to understand based on the offerings and based on the options which we selected and based on the users logins, the count of logins, we need to pay the amount to Oracle. Okay, so unnecessarily don't require the offerings which we are not using. Okay, so because if you use more offerings, we need to pay more license amount to Oracle. So in these offerings, and for example, what is a feature? For example, budgetary control in GL. Okay, there is a budgetary control. Do you want to implement or not? Budgetary control. Okay, this option, this particular feature, do you want to use, yes or no? Okay, so this kind of functionalities, sub functionalities, we used to call it as features. Features. So we create a project and we have offerings, options, and features. Once we select the offerings, options, and features in financials, SCM, and PPM, and different options, okay, system automatically distribute the task list. What tasks needs to be completed in GL, what task needs to be completed in AP, what task needs to be completed in AR. Accordingly, based on the offerings and options which we selected, system automatically distribute the task list. Distribute the task list, right? System automatically distribute the task list. So in GL, what task we need to done like that? In different modules, different tasks. Okay, we need system automatically, for example, creation of ledger. Okay, assign the balances, segment values. Okay, so there are so many options, so many task system automatically created. So then the project manager, okay, he needs to assign the task to the respective people. All these things is just managing in the application, okay, as part of project management. Okay, so for example, financial task will be assigned to the financial consultant, and SCM task will be assigned to the SCM consultant. Then the respective task will be assigned to respective users. You may ask the question like, so here, okay, here the project manager only will have the access, right? If you assign to other consultants, how they will get the access to the application? Because this project manager, what he will do, since he is having IT security manager, he also create the users for consultants. He also create the implementation user for consultant for financials, SCM, like that, and we can assign all these roles these to the consultant. That means initially Oracle is giving the access to us, and once we will get the access to us, we will create the users and assign the roles. Okay, and once we will assign the roles, they will able to perform the respective setups. Task will assign to whom? Task will be assigned to consultants. So consultants, because they want to implement the application, right? And once task will be assigned to the consultant, the respective consultants will log into the application. They can do the setups. They can do the setups. And once the task is completed, update the task. For example, this task is completed. So update the task, update the task, update the task, okay, with the status, completed or not, so that the project manager can easily understand. So which task is completed, which task is not completed, so that we can track the progress. We can track the progress. So we can track the progress. So these are all the things, okay. So is useful for the project management. But if you want to perform all these things, we should have a access for application implementation consultant, so that we'll get a grant access for functional setup manager, so that we can perform all the setup. So with the help of FSM, what we can do is all these activities we can do that. And addition to this, okay, what activities we can also do is, for example, I already configured all the setups in one instance. Now I want to move these setups to some other instance. Okay, so the moving of tasks, the moving of the setups from one instance to another instance also we can do as part of FSM. That means move tasks from one instance to another instance. So that is also possible. So one instance to another instance, that is also possible. That is also part of the activity which we are doing under FSM. And also, for example, if you want to implement, for example, I configured some setups. The same setups I want to do in some other instance. So if you want to perform same setups in different instances, we can move that. And sometimes what we can do, Oracle has given some spreadsheet. We have rapid implementation spreadsheet. Rapid implementation spreadsheets are available. With the help of spreadsheet, okay, we can upload all these things. If you want to do that, we need to download this rapid implementation spreadsheet from FSM. So all these activities where we are doing is, we are doing as part of FSM. By using FSM, we can do two things. Okay, one thing is, when you talk about project manager, he is more significant about project. How many activities needs to be done and which activity is assigned to whom, so that it is working. It can be act as a project management tool also. And another great advantage here is, with the help of FSM, any consultant will log in the same place. and they can do the respective configurations for any application. And one more advantage here also, it will show as a clear navigation. What steps we need to do first and what step we need to do next. Okay, it will give a navigation path clearly, the series of steps what we need to perform in order to complete the application. Everything will be taken care by this FSM. Okay, FSM will work as a guide, okay, to showcase which setups needs to execute it first, which setup needs to be executed later on. That kind of dependencies also it will indicate for us. So that is the advantage of FSM. Okay, so any questions in FSM? Yes, you can ask me, please.
It's okay. Just I want to ask about the RAPT implementation. This RAPT implementation, it's a document where I can download it.
You're talking about Rapid, right?
A RAPT implementation spreadsheet. And
Yes, yes.
through this spreadsheet, you can implement a full system.
For not all the things, all spreadsheets are not available. But some of the spreadsheets, okay, for example, GL related configurations, okay, all ledger creations, okay, values and definitions, okay. So there are not for everything we don't have rapid implementation spreadsheet, but in GL area, for most of the activities, Oracle has given rapid implementation spreadsheets. Okay, but in case of payables and receivables, we don't have rapid implementations. So we have FBDA and we have ADFDA. So we need to use those spreadsheets. Okay. So yeah, actually, I want to get into the application, but I don't know these guys. What is saying? You click use it.
I will get it from them, so I didn't ask.
Okay, because this point is very significant, right? But without software, how will you do the practice?
No way.
Yeah, that's very important, right? See, trainer, he will train, right? But he cannot provide the software. That is, companies will need to take care. This learning platform companies will need to take care of that. I don't know. That is, let me see 1 minute. It is working or not. When I tried morning, it was not working. Yeah, I think it's not working. So better what we can do, we need to check with